Rob, we have spoken before about actually all the different layers of how ThreatLocker is dealing with protection. But what I find is very interesting is, and you kind of do it the reverse of how a lot of other companies deal with it, is that you layer the detection on top of the protection. Explain that model for me and for the rest of us as to how that works.
When you put, I suppose, all of your eggs in the detection basket, I mean, it could be ransomware is running. The first you know about an attack is ransomware is running. And if the first you know about an attack is that ransomware is running, it's already too late. Your data is probably out there already. It's for sale in the dark web, and it's effectively a cleanup operation at that point. But there are obviously going to be indicators that things that will happen, even in a secured environment, that you may want to know about. When they happen, I mean, it's not, as I said, about detecting bad things specifically. It's about anomalous behavior.
We just want to know. If we know, then we can take action.
This is exactly the point. So even with the other layers of protection that we offer, there are certain things that either, I mean, we may well block them. I mean, it might be, as I said, somebody tries to run a remote access tool. I mean, ThreatLocker is going to block that because fundamentally ThreatLocker blocking things is what ThreatLocker does. But that doesn't mean an administrator doesn't want to know about it. And as I said, there's hundreds of different indicators of compromise, things that can happen on even secured machines or try to happen on secured machines that, as I said, administrators want to know about. So that's why detection is important, but only if you're layering it alongside or rather on top of protection.
How are your customers leaning into the detection element of it?
It could be just a confirmation of the fact that we protected them against something. It could have been somebody was trying to run something they shouldn't have been trying to run. ThreatLocker alerted them about it as well as blocking it. So they knew, an attack or an attempted attack was underway. To allow people to do something with that information, to take steps automatically if an attack is underway is really important.
I got to assume a customer's environment on day one versus 2-3 years down the road looks very, very different. Yes?
People's use of software, people's use of their systems doesn't tend to change over time. Now, in a typical environment, one where you allow everything to run unless it's bad, absolutely it will change over time because people will install Chrome extensions, they'll install toolbars, they'll install all manner of different software. But if you put a layer of control in place and stop them from doing all of those things, the environment isn't typically going to change that often. The one thing I would say that's really important, though, is about not only ThreatLocker's EDR, but any EDR is it's only as good as how often and when it's monitored, because you can put all the tools in place that you want. And if you're not monitoring those tools 24/7, 365, then they're as good as useless, which is effectively where our MDR, our cyber hero, what we call cyber hero MDR solution comes in, which is our cyber hero team are watching those alerts on our customers' behalf 24/7, 365. So even if it's the middle of the night and something anomalous happens, either we take remediating action directly for the customer or we basically tell them, we ring them, pick up, I know it's the middle of the night, but somebody's trying to run Mimikatz on one of your servers right now. What do you want us to do?
Well, that's amazing. You got protection, you got detection, and you got an MDR team looking out for everybody. Well, if you want to learn more about how ThreatLocker can really help on many levels in your environment, you got to go check out what they're doing. Go to threatlocker.com. There's a web address right there.